Hi folks, I'm just going to do a little demonstration video here on your van. Just give you a rundown on how everything operates. So we'll just start off on here. You're put out your step. So let's see what comes up here. Kill the light a bit. Right, we're just looking at your control panel here above the hab door as you come in. Now if you hit this button here, it brings on your 12 volt and this switches the van on inside. Now if we go over here now, we'll see we'll have this 230 volt. That's a light that'll light up when you're plugged in. So if you're plugged in the campsite or you're plugged in at home, that light there will light up and show you that the mains are coming in. Let's see if we get a better... That's the job now. So these are just indicators here. That first one there is the condition of your engine battery. You can see it's going way up here on the side here. And that's your leisure battery. And it's the same here. And this is showing here that we're actually using this negative amps. So we're actually using stuff. There's lights on in the van at the moment. Now if we plug in the van, that'll go up the way, showing you that you're charging. So that's just showing you there that we're using power. So over here then it's just your temperatures inside and outside the van. It's fairly warm there today. And this one here is your levels. So this is just your freshwater level and your wastewater level. So the freshwater is nearly half full and your waste it's empty. That button there doesn't really do anything, and then you just have your clock here. That wee clock, there's a wee screw here. You just screw sort of half a turn and you take it out. You have to change the batteries on it. So that's your control panel. There's a wee alarm will probably come up here in the middle if your leisure battery goes way down too low, but it's not lit up there at the moment, but it'll come up there in the middle, you know. But that's just your control panel. So the next thing we're looking at here is your fridge. So this is your main control knob for your fridge, and at the moment it's off, it's at 0. The first setting is gas. So when you flick onto gas, you'll get a solid light coming on here, and that means it's lit up. If it flashes, it means you need to switch on your gas. So that's your gas setting. And there's no buttons to press or anything, just switch directly on and that'll come on itself. The next one down then is your mains. And you see we have a red light, so we're not plugged in at the moment. That'll go yellow if you're plugged in. The next one then is running off your engine. That only works when the engine's actually running. Now in this van at the moment it's actually wired that it'll work with the engine off. So you need to watch that you don't leave that on there when the engine's not running, because it'll run down your leisure battery. It's just the way this fridge is wired. You can maybe use that if you're going on a ferry, that you can switch that onto the battery, and that's running off the leisure battery now. It'll keep the fridge cool while you're crossing, but really you should only use that when the engine's actually running. And the last feature then is auto. When you put an automatic, it'll pick whatever's available. At the moment it's going on to gas, so if you're plugged in it'll go on to the mains, and if you start the engine it'll go on to the battery. So auto is probably your best setting. Just put the fridge straight onto auto and it'll pick whatever's available. Now this light here, when you press that heats up this bar inside. See this panel here? It heats that up there a wee bit there just to stop condensation. So that's what that red switch is for there. That's just the heater. That's just to heat this wee bar here. And then over here then you have your temperature setting. You can see the wee LEDs going up and down there. So you can check that out yourself. And then on the fridge catch itself, if you can see here when we bring the catch over and back, always make sure you have it that way before you close the door. Otherwise you'll just damage this wee bit here. So always have it that way. And it shows you here in the front of the wee lock. No lock and unlock. So that's it locked there, and that's it unlocked. So always have it on the unlock before you close it. And these two are opposite. You can see, so you can switch it with one hand. Like that, that's it locked, that's it unlocked. So just make sure you have them unlocked before you close the door. Now when they are unlocked, if you look here on the clip itself, there's two wee indentations on it. Now if you put it on the first one here, it'll actually vent the fridge and leave the door open a wee bit, and the last one on here is actually locking the fridge. So if you want to leave the door open a wee bit when you're not using the fridge, just use that one there. So we'll just put that across there and close it. So that's just your fridge. So the next thing we're looking at here is your heating. Now this van, it'll heat the water and the van itself on either gas or electric or both. So how you pick what you're going to use is this one over here on the left. Now at the moment it's on gas. You can see here, you're just working off this wee nub here. That's on gas. And what you have then, you have two elements of electric, 900 and 1800. So what you can do is you can go up that way and pick your whatever strength of electricity you want. But normally in Ireland, just go straight to the top. That's 1800 watts. So once it's on electric, you can run the hot water off the electric, and you can run the heating off the electric. Now when the heating's running on the electric, it's not going to be as strong as what it is, or as hot as it is on gas, and it's a lot quieter as well. So just be aware of that when you're running the heating on electric. Sometimes it's very quiet. But that's your electric, that's half electric, that's your gas, and then down the bottom is a mixture of both. So what you can actually do in this van here, you can heat the van on gas and electric, and you can pick whatever strength of electric you want, either 1 or 2 elements. So if it's very cold, you want to heat the van up fast and you're plugged in, you can go straight to the bottom here and use both. So we'll just, at the moment we're not plugged in, we'll have to run on gas. So if we go over this side here, when that's pointing at 0, the heater's off. To heat the van, bring it down to the first one here, and you'll get a little green light comes on that shows you that the heater's it's running okay. If you get a red light on there, it means the heater's failed to light, and it's probably because your gas is switched off. Now, to heat the van, you have a temperature setting on this inner knob, and it goes from 1 up to 5. Now, in around 3 is usually sufficient to heat the van, but you can mess about yourself and see what you like. Now, the heater itself will cut in and out. As it gets to the temperature, it'll cut out and come back in again. So if you have it sitting at 5, it'll never cut out, it'll just run constantly. So you can just see how you get on. Every van's slightly different because of the size of the van and the layout. So that's just heating the van on its own. Down the bottom here is heating the van and heating the water at 60 degrees. And then up the top here is heating the water on its own, either at 40 or 60. So 40 is really just for in around sinks and in around when you're just washing your hands and stuff, and then 60 is for having a shower. Now you can see we brought on a yellow light here. That yellow light is for heating water. If we set that at 40 degrees, when it heats the full boiler to 40 degrees, that yellow light will go out, and then you'll know you have your maximum amount of hot water. So the same thing for a shower. We'd recommend you'd heat it up to 40, let the yellow light go out, and about 5 minutes before you want to have a shower, put it on to 60. The yellow light will come back on again, and the boiler will start heating, and it'll continue to heat as you're in the shower, and it'll give you a good quantity of hot water for a shower. So 60 is really for having a shower, but that's the way to do it, is to heat it to 40 first, and then about 5 minutes before you have the shower, stick it on to 60. Let the yellow light come back on, and you'll have a nice shower. And then at 0, then it's off. So that's just your heating controls. Now the green flashing light is just a cooling down mode. The longer you have the heater on, the more that'll flash when that's at 0. And you can see it only flashed a couple of seconds there because the heater wasn't on too long. But that can flash for maybe a minute or 2, and that's just normal enough. So just to recap, if you have any red light coming on in here, it means it's failed to light, and just go out and check your gas. So that's just your heating controls. So you can see now we're looking underneath the seat here, just beside the cooker and oven, and that's your main trips for your 220 volt. That's in here, and they just trip up this way here. That's the way they should be, and if they trip, they go the opposite way. And underneath this compartment here is your heater. Now we'd recommend not storing anything in there because the heater itself needs a bit of air to operate, and there's a lot of wires and pipes and stuff in there, so I wouldn't recommend storing anything actually in there. And underneath the opposite seat there, you can see you have that little black container there is your blow up kit, and that contains a compressor and your fluid for fixing the puncture, and that's where that is. So we're just looking at your hob here. Your hob is not self-igniting, you're going to need a lighter for it, but the knobs here, you just turn these and you have a little safety on each of these, so the gas won't come out until it's actually lit. So you can actually turn these and there's no gas coming out until that's actually lit. So it's fairly straightforward. And then we're looking here then at your oven and grill. It's got its own igniter here, and you hear that lighting inside, and you have on this knob here you have your grill that side and your oven that side, and just push it in and press your igniter and that'll light up. So that's just your oven and grill. It's fairly straightforward. These are just your gas valves here, and they're normally on. Just leave them on that way there. They're pointing at the one, that means they're on. And they're really only for maintenance. You should just switch off at the bottle if you want to switch off your gas. So what we're looking at here is just underneath the dinette seat here beside the table. Lift up the cushion and the board, and you'll see this is your freshwater tank. Now to empty the freshwater tank, if you look in here and look over towards here, just underneath the pump, you see a white handle that you pull up and just pull out, and that's your stopper, and that'll drain the water out of the fresh water tank. And then you can just put your lid back on again. It just screws back on. Make sure you have that tight. And you can see it's got an overflow here. If you're filling in from outside, it'll just overflow out through this pipe here. And these are your wires here for your pump. It's easy enough to change. If I have to change, it's just two wires here. They're wired up on here, and the pump's just suspended inside the tank. So what we're looking at here is just your front bed. And you can see I have the cushions down there at the moment. There's a cushion there that goes over the passenger seat. That just lifts out, and you can see the shape of it underneath. It goes over the top of the seat itself. So just get rid of that. Let's see. And if you get rid of your cushion, and you can see the table here, that just drops down. It usually fits on this rail here, and there's another rail at the bottom, and at the moment it's on that bottom rail, and your leg is halved. You can see it's just split in half there. So that's your table back up onto the top rail, and this is the button here for halving the leg. Just push that on, the leg will flip back, and you can drop it on there to the bottom rail the way it was there a second ago. And then you can just make up put your cushions back on here again, and that's your bed finished. Now in your back wardrobe, which is just above this bed here, you'll see there's a little extension, and that's for that table at the front. There's two clips underneath the table, and the top of the table slides out, and you can extend your table on out just to give you a bigger table. So that's what that is in there. So folks, we're just going to look here at your bathroom. Now your bathroom slides out, and what you're looking at here, just turn your locks out to that. You can see the way the lock turns around. That's the way it was, and just turn it around to there, and do the same here on the far side. And then your whole bathroom, grab the two handles. So you're grabbing the two handles, one on each side here, and pulling the bathroom out. And then inside then you have your bathroom and shower. Now in here you just have your toilet flush, and it'll show up here when your cassette's full. You'll get lights coming on there, and you have the drop down sink here, and this operates here as your shower as well. See how it comes out, and that's just your taps. So that's your wee bathroom, and the light switch is over here in the corner, and these here just clip up. You get a wee bit of air in there, and they just clip back down again when you pull the skylight back down. So that's just your wee bathroom and your shower. So in your kitchen drawer here we have your waste valve handle for draining the waste out. I'll show you that outside now, and I've just left you that's just a wee bag of rubber rings for your gas hose. I put a new one of them on, and there's 4 spares. So that's for your gas hose. I'll show you that outside as well. There's a wee rubber ring, you can check on that, and that's 4 wee spare ones for you. So just moving outside the van here, you have your mains plug in here, and this boy here is just the exhaust for the heater. We'll come around here then, and this is your gas locker. And you can see we fitted a new hose on here, and you have a full bottle. And how this operates: to close the gas, just turn that clockwise, and to open it anti-clockwise. To change your hose, you get the spanner here, and you loosen that nut there, and then the nut loosens clockwise, so it loosens that way, and it tightens anti-clockwise. So just be aware of that. And when I'm talking about the wee rubber, when you take this off, look on there, there's a little black rubber ring. Always make sure that's in good condition, and you have spare ones there in the drawer inside. And that's really it. And you have a space here for another 11 kilogram as well. And always keep running the van on propane, don't change over to butane. The van's running an awful lot better on the propane. And this is your regulator here, and your hose. So at the moment I'll just switch this gas off. That's your gas off, and that's your gas. So to access your cassette, you can open this garage door here. You see we're in the garage here on the left hand side, and that's just your cassette in there. And then you have a bit more storage in your carpet sets in there, and you can lift that up there from inside as well to get at it. And then along this side here now you have your fresh water fill, and then underneath the van here you can see this is what we're going to use your handle for now, and that goes on. If you can see there, that goes on there, and that opens and closes there for your you can see the water coming out there. That's just your waste water from your sinks and your showers, and then close it that way. and take your key out and put it in the drawer. So moving along here, you have your diesel fill here, and in underneath the seat here, in the passenger seat, you have your main 12 volt control box, and you can see just all your fuses for your 12 volts and stuff, and that does your charging and the whole lot. Now your engine battery is underneath the floor, underneath the cover on the floor here, but you can jump start the van in the engine compartment. I'll give you a wee look at that in a second. Your engine pull is just inside the door, which is here. And then moving around to the engine compartment, I'll show you if you want to jump start the van, that's your positive here, and your negative goes on here, so that's for your jump leads if you ever have to jump start the van. Now your dipstick's down the front here, and your oil cap. This engine's got a timing chain, so you don't have to worry about timing belts. And then you have your window wash, so always make sure don't mix them up. That's your window wash here, and that's just your engine coolant here, your power steering and brake fluid. So we'll just go on, we'll go back on around here now, and we'll look underneath the driver's seat. Now we fitted your solar panel. So in here now is your solar panel regulator, which is this guy here. Now there's nothing to do to that there, that's just going to run away on its own. There's a little red fuse here, that's the fuse for the solar panel, and that's just the regulator itself. So we always keep them as close to the battery as possible. Your main charging fuses are these ones here. If the van ever fails to charge, have a look at these two big ones here, and that's including your engine charge. So as well as the ones under the passenger seat, these are the only other fuses you have in the van. Now moving on to your cab, the only feature you mightn't have seen before is the cruise control on this. You just turn it on here and hit it one shot up the way, and that activates your cruise control. So that's just that lower lever. The rest is very car-like. You can hear the buzzer there, that's your step out. Your aircon is this one. You can see the wee frost symbol coming up here, and turn your temperature up and down here, and your fan. So it's all fairly straightforward. And your stereo, we'd recommend that you push out the face of the stereo by pressing that wee button in the corner when you're not using the van, just to be sure that it's not draining. That radio will actually work when the van's switched off, if you want music when the van's not running. So always make sure when you go home, just press that button to pop out the front, to be sure you're not using any power when the van's not being used. So we fixed your blinds here. That's your blind there at the side now. They were sticking a wee bit at the top there, and I just repaired that bar at the top, so they're all working grand there now. And then the other thing you have here now is your reverse camera. So when you put the van into reverse, you see the screen lights up. So that's your reverse camera. I'll just switch her off again. So hopefully folks, I've gone through everything in the van for you that you need to know to get you going. But you can always ring us anytime if there's any problems or anything you're not sure about. And we're always here anytime you want to ring us. So good luck with your new van, and thank you.